Okay, the last bit of positive news that we have discussed today is Halo 3 ODST Flood Firefight. Now, I don't know about you, Winter, but when I first heard this, I thought, holy shit, this is something I never knew I wanted, and now that it's here, I can't picture it not being here.
Okay, so for me, this is Left 4 Dead Halo style. And one, no, I'm not going to complain. Two, I actually had, for a very long time, wondered why this wasn't the original firefight. To me, this just seems so obvious when the entire point of the flood is overrunning you
Yep.
that it would make sense for this to be what it is.
It makes
But
sense
they
because,
never went
they
there.
can constantly regenerate their dead, their little, the spawns, they can, or the
The
flood,
spawns, the popcorns.
the popcorns, they can like regenerate the dead, like revitalize them, yada yada. It's easy pickings for endless waves of like combat, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The infector forms make it so that even like you can get for the first time, well, not the first time because there's been infection mode, but the infector forms could even infect your fallen bodies so that you have dead Spartans as the elite units.
That sounds terrifying.
Sounds fun. I mean, I'm excited for this. Are you?
I think this is gonna be a reason for me to actually like install ODST on my computer and play some Firefight. I think ODST had the best firefight. I wasn't really a big fan of Reaches because it just felt like an arcade game mode, whereas ODST felt actually very challenging.
Right.
Like the
No, I
survivability
agree. I
factor
agree
playing
with
as an
that.
ODST, like you're super squishy. You don't have access to the big weapons like the Spartan does, like the Chief. And then Halo 5's Warzone Firefight, eh, like this or Halo. Did I say Halo 5 or Halo 3? Halo 5's Warzone Firefight, meh, just a solid meh.
So I do have a question for you. I know Halo 3 ODST is the same engine as Halo 3, but is
Yep,
this the first time any form of flood have been introduced into ODST?
I think so. I think it's been mainly
Yeah,
like the Covenant, right?
yeah, I mean, to my experience, anything I remember, I don't ever remember there being any form of flood mode in ODST, but I could be wrong about that.
No, I think it's just mainly like the Covenant forms, like the brutes, the elites, grunts, jackals,
I don't,
Jirlhanai.
I don't even think they had infection mode in ODST. Like, I don't think they had the modes where like the Spartans got turned into flood.
No, and ODST was literally you had the campaign and then you had firefight. There was no multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Sorry, it's been a very long time. ODST is kind of. I won't lie. When I was younger, um, I was really into campaigns, and ODST's campaign, besides the opening drop, never really impressed me. It seemed very bare bones.
It did. It was a game that Bungie was experimenting with, well, like sort of open worldness. Like you have like the hub and you can go find the different missions. All of the stuff they did for Halo was just building blocks of learnings for their future games.
Absolutely, and again, I mean, they completely failed with Destiny, so they didn't really learn that much. But that's not the point.
That's
I
not the
just
point. I would disagree, but that's not the point.
no, I was skipping off that before you could argue. I want my point to stand.
Mm-mm.
Um, I think this is going to be great. I think this will be fun. This is something I would consider getting gold for, and getting gold back for, and cross-platforming with you to be able to play this. I would probably enjoy this for a while.
Same. I remember the VidMaster challenges in ODST. I think it was you had to get to
Right.
wave five, fifth wave or something, and
Mm-hmm.
on heroic with a team of four, and we never got it because one of our teammates always kept lagging out, and we would lose the progress. We would all get disconnected, and we never got recon because of that reason.
Oh, Aegis, don't tell me that, because now all I'm going to do is intentionally hit the reset on my internet every like 15 minutes on you,
I kill you.
just for fun. I kill you! Silence! I kill you! All right,
Oh
I'm excited for this. There isn't a whole lot to say.
no,
It looks awesome.
it's more content for the games. I think it's awesome. It's a big update.
Exactly, and this is all free, right? So
It's all free.
shit, yeah, this is awesome. I like it. I think it's a great thing. I don't think it tied up too many of their resources, so it's probably good because they're focusing on Halo Infinite. But it's just enough difference that it doesn't matter. It didn't tie up a ton of their resources.
Agreed. 100%. Okay, I think on that last note where you mentioned Infinite, let's dive into the deep end and discuss the latest drama surrounding Halo Infinite. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of good came from the PvP multiplayer flight. We saw a lot of like fun interactions with the sandbox. You know, the equipment, the grapple hook especially looked amazing. The map seemed pretty decent. Bots, being able to fight bots seems pretty challenging. It's nice that maybe if you don't have anybody to play with and you're not really feeling competitive online, you can play against some bots. Cool.
What game? What game does that remind me of? One of the 007 games. Um,
Oh, dude, I can't help you
it w-
there.
it wasn't From Russia with Love. It wasn't. Was it Die Another Day? There was a okay. So there was a 007 game that was not GoldenEye, where you could play against bots, and that was probably the most fun I ever had in a video game.
Hmm.
You turn them up to 9 and they just come after you with rocket launchers, and it was like no. And there was a snow map. I'm going on a little bit of a nostalgia tangent, but there was a snow map that was basically a ripoff of Halo's Blood Gulch,
Yep.
except it had grapple lines and stuff. And oh my god, these things were like the ghost from Halo 3 and Halo 2, the ghost of you know what I'm talking about, the one that could like climb up walls and stuff, the one that had no player ID. um
Right.
it was like that. These things would, you turn around and one of them would just be dropping off the grapple line, and it was like, oh, and rocket launcher.
And
Like
smack.
they yeah, they beat you down. It was pretty impressive for AI designed 15, 20 years ago. Sorry,
Yeah, and
off the tangent.
actually really like the AI in the game. They were a little bit predictable, but they were really challenging. And so I think one of the community managers actually confirmed there was a bug where the AI would actually teabag you if they killed you, and that wasn't intentional, and they were thinking of taking it out. How amazing!
Sure, sure, they can claim it was a mistake so they don't get an adults only rating. Um,
Yeah, they're going for T again. I don't get why. Just show the
oh, they're going for
blood.
teen. Wait, they're going for teen?
Yeah, I'm almost positive they're going for teen again. It's why you do this,
No, no. So, that's not
right?
great. Halo was always barely M rated.
Yeah,
Like, it
it's like
lightly earned its M.
it's like if you're only allowed to say one F bomb in T, well they say two pretty much. Like they just got right over the barrier. I think it was the blood, but like hell, I was 12 years old. Maybe that calls into question my parents' comments on me playing the game. But I played the game, and look at what turned out. Wait, I turned
Well,
out like this. Actually, shit.
oh crud. But my question is, like, my concern when I hear teen, and before everyone jumps down our throat that it doesn't matter, my legitimate concern is what happens with the flood. Because the old version of the flood, dismemberment, blood and gore everywhere, graphic mutation of Marines, and Covenant into flood combat forms. Those are definitely the most M-rated moments of the old Halo games.
And you
I
have to
mean that
assume that the Flood are going to be there because it's Say to Halo.
right. And I just picture that moment in Halo 3 where you see that first Marine where it's scripted and he runs in front of you and he gets turned into a flood combat form.
Yep.
How are they going to address that in a game that has newer graphics, more intense graphics? You're not going to be able to dismember something and like have it be rated teen.
Well, that's why there's no dismemberment in I think Jedi Fallen Order with lightsabers. You think, oh my god, chop off arms. Nope, just a little like a white slash at their body, and then no blood. Ah.
So does that mean we're going to wind up taking a step back here in combat realism with the flood? Are we going to get a flood version where we can't dissect them and we don't see the infection take place?
I mean, can you picture Dead Space not having dismemberment for those the what are they called? They're zombie forms. But that's the whole point. Like
Necromorphs.
necromorphs. Like you shoot a shotgun at a flood, he should explode. Like case in point there.
Yeah. I mean, I was always one of those people who supported that there should be a Halo offshoot game where you play as a Marine who gets trapped in a flood infestation scenario. Like a hardcore M-rated horror game from Halo about a Marine trapped with the flood. I always thought that would be good world building to show the flood when you're not a big tough Spartan or ODST.
I even think
You're
it'd
just
be I think it'd be
sorry.
terrifying playing through Awakening the Nightmare as like an FPS as a brute from Halo Wars
Right.
2. Like that because that's the three versions of the flood there. That'd be insane.
The only issue with the Flood and Awakening the Nightmare was that half of them were neon.
Why were
So,
they neon?
well, they were like neon yellow. They had like the pus bags to like whatever it was. They were shiny.
Ah,
Wait, did you not beat Awakening the Nightmare?
no. I actually didn't
Oh,
beat. I didn't beat Halo Wars 2. I don't care about spoilers. It's been like 6 years, but
yeah,
I should
yeah. They had like I think it was to make them more visible on the map. A lot of them had like neon yellow like pustules on them.
I guess that makes sense though. But meh. I mean, because I guess the brown would kind of blend into the background a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm really distracting this conversation. There's a few other things to discuss here. They have gone infinitely opposite from Halo 5 here, and I think even Halo 4. They've announced that it's going to have split screen co-op right off the bat, which is amazing,
Yep.
but we're not going to have multiplayer online, which I imagine the newer generation is not going to be very happy about.
Yeah, like no campaign co-op like online is it's brutal. It's 343 saying we're gonna have split screen again, which is a positive, but then we're also not gonna have the campaign co-op for online play at launch. They said it's gonna be available for season 2, and seasons are gonna last approximately 3 months, so that puts us in to March when we get campaign co-op. And
It,
that seems too long. Like that should be a launch feature.
well, it seems like I don't. I mean, I guess I don't know enough about gaming, but to me, it seems like it should be a basic launch feature that really doesn't require a lot of resources.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not
it feels
sure
like this.
because you
I don't
think
know. It feels like this should have been. Yeah.
you
Sorry.
had the
Go ahead.
the online multiplayer for like PvP. So okay, that shouldn't it be similar in implementation to that?
If not easier, because it's only 4 people instead of like up to 16.
Or actually, I think it's 24 now with BTB.
Oh, right, exactly. So I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to understand why that would get backburnered. And again, I don't even. Well, I actually do kind of care because if I want to play with you and Mac,
Yep,
then it means that. Sorry, Mac. Mac is one of our friends, guys. It means that right now I probably couldn't.
yep. And I was even thinking, me and you be able to play the campaign together because you're like 4 or 5 hours away from me. I'm here. It'd be fun.
Yeah, and again, I am a huge proponent of split screen, and I love split screen. And me and you have sat down while we were in university and played through Halo 2 on split screen, and I had to push you over an entire bridge to get through a level. And I was using you as an ammo source while you were in the bathroom.
Damn it,
Uh,
that's true. Yeah.
but I mean, for me, it just seems like they should both be a thing. There shouldn't really be a one or the other scenario here. It should be you get both.
Isn't that weird how Halo 5 is beating out Halo Infinite in that regard? Because Halo 5 launched with, campaign multiplayer co-op at launch. It didn't launch with it. I don't think it launched with Forge, but
No.
oh my god, that's another thing. Halo Infinite is not going to launch with Forge until I think Season 3, which is 6 months down the road, which is June. At the earliest,
Yeah,
they're
that's a
projecting,
mistake.
which is I mean, here's the thing. What that sounds to me is they're going to have the beefiest forge that has ever existed in Halo, which means putting bots on the map, different kinds of customizable elements as intense as, having AI in your map, which sounds amazing. And it's only going to further build on Halo 5's forge, which has been, from my understanding, the best forge to date with the amount of customization and the game modes that you can make. But I just don't know how those two things between multiplayer co-op can't like online and Forge get backburnered or get so off track that they have to be delayed. And
Well,
picture
yeah,
this:
I mean that's
the game was supposed to launch last November, winter. What would it have been launching with?
yeah. No, I agree. And that's the thing is you want to blame it on COVID, but it feels like this is the kind of stuff that you would have thought was the reason why the single player didn't look so polished.
Yep.
That's kind of my thing is I would have thought these were the things that were pulling resources away from the single player, which would have caused what we saw. It's a little disheartening to see that, oh no, the multiplayer is also not complete.
Yep.
It's a little weird.
But here's the thing: we can't get mad at Joseph Staten because. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. We can't get mad at Joseph Staten because even though he's front and center and he's the front face for 343 and Halo Infinite right now. He's not the one in charge of these tough decisions. Like, he wants what's best for the game. I think it's more so stakeholder driven and Microsoft driven, like, to get this game out for December, because you need to recoup some money, because this game's been in the oven for approximately 6 years, give or take, right? Like,
Well, and
investors.
their entire marketing campaign went up in smoke. I mean, last year they had Doritos and Mountain Dew out for like 5 months that were supposed to be out alongside Halo Infinite, and
Yep. And
there went all their marketing money.
And exactly, because this game's not being marketed right now. Like, I haven't seen a commercial on YouTube, any posts online, any Doritos or Mountain Dew stuff right now, which also classic Halo Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Right, exactly. Us nerds, we need our energy.
Yep, two of
I,
our
I,
five
I
food
guess what I'm
groups.
saying is for me it makes sense. I mean, gamers are not going to forget Halo.
No,
I mean, that's one benefit, but all the promotional stuff has already been wasted, right? And
yep.
I get it. I mean, I get that you can't back out of contracts, and I get that once the product has been made, it's been shipped, the packaging has been created, you can't just back out of a promotional campaign. But there is a twisted and hilarious irony to the fact that the promotional campaign has been done for a year now and the game's still not ready.
I think something that can be said, also I agree, um, is that 343 right now, and Joseph Staten especially, because he's being the voice of 343 right now. Uh,
Right.
they're probably being the most transparent that I've seen of every company in gaming. Because you
Yep.
gotta look at the elephant in the room, the big stinking elephant. Cyberpunk 2077. That game launched as a stain on the wall. Like, just awful, awful state, glitchy, buggy, horrible mess. And it shouldn't have launched. Should have been in the oven for the year. But that should have been an
Well,
example for all games. Like, hey, we cannot launch before this game is ready. That was basically launched in a beta state. I don't think Infinite's going to launch in a beta state. I think it's going to be missing key components, which sucks. But I think that does speak to, um, them not wanting to put out a lie of a game. You know what I mean? They're trying to be as forward,
well,
focused, and open, in spite of how shitty the news is. I'm not
so
excusing
see,
it.
I mean, I sort of do. I mean, see, to me, CD Project Red got their project wrecked by gamers. They caved to a bunch of gamers whining and complaining that they wanted their game, and it wasn't
Oh,
ready.
I don't think it was
Those
the gamers they caved. I think it was the stakeholders.
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, sure, they definitely caved partially to stakeholders, but I remember, what is it? Pembridge Farms remembers that before that game launched, there were tirades from gamers all over the world saying, this game has to be released. Just put it out. Just do it. We've waited long enough. You've had an extra 6 months. And then the minute the game got published, all those same people were like, "Oh my God, what have you done? Oh my God, you've ruined your reputation."
Really though, but I think
So,
I think what ended up happening though is, though, like, they said multiple times throughout the years, this game will launch when it's ready. Like, it's the
right,
same old quote from that Nintendo developer: "A delayed game is eventually amazing. A poorly released game is bad forever." It's just sullied in
wait,
the eyes.
wait.
Miyamoto, I think it was Miyamoto.
Are you telling me Duke Nukem Forever was good?
No, it was never good. It was forever bad.
That took 10 years to develop. So, I mean, I think it's a point against what you're saying. But yeah, I
And
get
that
what
was
you're
a
saying.
steaming pile. Like, that's true. It's like, eventually it's in the oven too long. You gotta get it out. But I mean, ugh,
Well, games these days, the thing is with Duke Nukem, by the time it came out, it was very dated.
yeah.
And it was very, like, even the sense of humor of the game was no longer really modern. And the thing with, say, Halo Infinite, once they've upgraded its graphics, is see, games these days, like AAA games, yeah, you can argue about every pixel in the game and whether or not it's perfectly scripted, but oh my God, they all look so good. It doesn't matter if they came out a year ago, it doesn't matter if they come out a year from now. They all look so bloody good that it's like they get that benefit of, if they're a year later than they should have been, yeah, they might not look quite like the brand new game that came out, but they still look so freaking good, right?
Yeah,
It'll it,
most current gen games are like on the Xbox Series X or the PS5. They look amazing. They're smooth. Most of them, if not all of them, should be launching with at least 60 FPS, 1440p. Uh, I think there's a recent game from Ubisoft actually. And it's launching. It was maybe Far Cry 6. It plans to launch at 30 FPS, which is what the hell are you doing? How unoptimized is your game? But most
yeah,
games are launching at 60 and at the very least 1080p. I would argue
yeah,
frames are more important because it's smoother, but yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. That's I would argue that frame rate's more important than yeah. No, I would agree with you. Okay, so what else do we know? I mean, we're really running on time here. We've been going for about an hour on this, and we know that the people's demand that we make shorter videos. So, is
The
there anything else we
peoples.
want to touch base on? The one real fan we have, my mother, and all the bots that keep subscribing and commenting on our videos. Um,
Hi, Winter's
sorry.
mom. Uh,
Hi, miss you, mom. All right, I
I
think we should wrap this up.
I think overall, I still want to get Infinite, but now that it's like, because I'm not going to be one to play a bunch in Forge. I love Forge. I loved it when I was younger, but I don't have that time to commit to being creative with new maps and modes. I want to be able to play what other people are playing. I want to be able to hop into a custom browser or download using file share. Remember file share from Halo 3?
Yep.
Getting maps, modes, pictures, videos, yada yada. And it's going to really hurt the game to not launch as a full package. And I think that's going to turn away some people. And it's going to be another, oh, but they couldn't do this at launch, kind of like 5 and 4, which is, I think Infinite's going to launch with a lot of good.
Yeah.
I think Infinite's going to launch with a great campaign, great sandbox, and great multiplayer. But I think it's going to be sorely judged by not having Forge and campaign multiplayer online at launch. Sadly.
Gaming companies need to get away from releasing games that are not completed these days. If that means narrowing your scope in general and just not having some stuff, I think that's better than promising things and then having to delay them.
You know what's
I
bad
think
though?
modern,
Fans do grow to expect things as a baseline, like Forge and Halo
yeah, but
3. Okay, so we're gonna have Forge and Reach. Hell, we had theater mode in 3, so we're getting theater mode in every game after
yeah, but
3.
yeah, but to hell with the fans sometimes, especially when it comes to things like this. To me, this is one of the growing problems of games. Every game now has to have everything.
Yep.
And like you look back on, we're going to talk Dead Space here at some point in the near future. You look
Mhm.
back at Dead Space. Dead Space 1 and 2 are masterpieces. I will
They
still
are.
go play them.
Yep.
Then you have Dead Space 3 that needed to step outside of its realm. It had to become multiplayer, it had to become online. Although Dead Space 2 did have online, but it really sucked and it was just tacked on.
Hmm.
It's these games can't be everything. It's
No.
part of the problem. I get that Forge is a big part of Halo, and it should be a big part of Halo. But you want to know what I would suggest? Rather than trying to go like huge, massive multiplayer like Battlefield and having 24 player maps,
Yep.
stick to the maps we know. Have
Yep.
12, 16 player maps and focus on putting in the things that are already there and then release the new shit like the 24 player maps delayed if you want
Agreed.
to.
Agreed. Like stick to Halo. Like I think Halo does need Forge because Halo is iconic to or Forge is iconic to Halo. But I think
Right.
expanding the scope of big team battle and trying to get into the more the battlefield size game modes, which it's still not that size, but they're trying to encroach on that. I think it's kind
Yeah.
of showing that they're trying to draw in new fans. But you also have to really show why your old fans love the game that you're making.
Right. I agree. I agree with that sentiment. However, we are running up on time here. We should probably cut this off before we go into the infinite hour like timeline. And wish everyone well and have a good afternoon.
Well, everybody, thanks to the patience. Thanks for tuning into our video. It's been a little while. We've been busy with life, moving, work, the summer, and other dramas, but we're happy to be back, and we'll keep putting out content. Have a good one.
Absolutely. And we'll be releasing a very short video here soon to discuss where we've been. So if anyone cares, you'll get a quick update on that. All right, guys. Talk to you in a bit.
Later.